picture's so bright I gotta wear shades. And now my video just went off. But let me bring it back up. There we go. Now, here's a question, and it was stated matter-of-factly by somebody in the Netherlands who had actually visited a traditionalist Catholic Mass, the Tridentine Mass. Is Protestantism a religion? What gets called Christianity when people say you're Christian or Catholic, even though Roman Catholics are Christians. The Baptists, the Evangelicals, the Methodists, I would say they don't have a religion. They have these silly beliefs, and they certainly don't get them from the Bible. The religion of Christianity is practiced in a few churches. You have the Eastern Orthodox Church, or the Eastern Orthodox Communion, I should say, the Oriental Orthodox, the Assyrian Church of the East, the Papal Church, also known as the Roman Catholic Church, and those that are subservient to it, like the Melkite, the Maronite, and then I guess you could count Missouri Synod Lutheran, kind of, and some break-offs of the Episcopal Church that became Anglican or kind of Anglo-Catholic. But even post-Vatican II, with Novus Ordo, it's a crying shame. And the thing is that Protestantism was dying. People were flooding back into the Catholic Church, and Vatican II happened. One of the worst abominations ever. Worst stabs in the back to the Catholic people. But what happened was I believe the Pope died during the council, and they had to elect a new Pope, so it took like between 3 and 5 years for the council to be there. Now keep in mind, I myself am an Antiochian Orthodox, or Syriac Orthodox. So I don't recognize, I mean, these are not ecumenical councils, Vatican I, Vatican II. I recognize only the first 7, right? So 787 was the last ecumenical council, and it was to affirm icons. Now, the Protestant does not believe in liturgical worship, does not believe in set fast days, in set feast days, although they celebrate Christmas and talk about the war on Christmas. You know why Thanksgiving was invented? It was because Christmas was outlawed, and they created Thanksgiving, basing it off of, I believe, the Feast of the Tabernacles or the Feast of Sukkot in the Old Testament, and placed it a month before to try to de-Catholicize Christendom, or at least England, right? This is under Cromwell. So our story of Thanksgiving with Squanto and everything, yeah, that pretty much happened. All politically incorrect as it is. But these people were already practicing this feast of Thanksgiving when they were in the Netherlands, or Holland, I guess it was at the time. Now, in the Roman Catholic Bible and in the Eastern Orthodox Bible, which these were the canons of Christendom until the Protestants, the Reformation came around and said, well, we believe what's in the Bible and just what's in the Bible. And then they go, oh, shoot, there's intercessions of saints in the Bible, and prayers for saints, and asking, saints to pray for you, and we can't have that, let's take that out. And you know what? Anything that's not part of the Masoretic text, which is not even a rabbinical Jewish manuscript, it's a Karaite manuscript from about 1,000 years ago. So Septuagint predates it. Keep in mind the Septuagint was translated by Jews in Alexandria. Even the Latin Vulgate predates the Masoretic text, and so does the Dead Sea Scrolls, but those were just found in 1947. But we have a case in the books of Kings where a man gets murdered and thrown into a pit, and that pit has the bones of Elisha in it, and the man hits the bones and springs right back up to life. Now, whether you're an atheist or whatever, it doesn't matter. That's clearly relics. The fact that the bones of a saint aka holy man, having power in them, miraculous power in them. That's in their Protestant Bible. The thing that they claim, I believe in this, and any church that, here's something, a Bible-believing church. The church was formed before the Bible, and it took about 400 years for the New Testament canon to coalesce. First time we even get a list that looks like our New Testament, or that is of our New Testament, is Athanasius of Alexandria's 39th Paschal Letter in AD 367. So after Nicaea. It wasn't even at Nicaea, it was after Nicaea. And he even said, hey, before you even read any of that stuff, you got to read the Protevangelium of James and the Didache, and the Epistle of Barnabas and the First Clement. You should read the works of Ignatius of Antioch. But yeah, the Old Testament was not the Jewish Tanakh. It never was for the Christians. It was the Septuagint. And some of those beautiful and graceful stuff like the Book of Wisdom or Ben Sirach or 1st and 2nd Maccabees, they don't have. That's why did the Jews freak out when Jesus came into Jerusalem on a colt and people were laying palm fronds down in front of him? Because that's how the Maccabees entered. That's why it was such an uproar. Palm Sunday, they can't understand Palm Sunday because they don't have the books of the Maccabees. And saying that you're going to base your church on the Bible, well, the church was founded at one point in history, Pentecost, right? And so you either have a choice of Oriental Orthodox, Eastern Orthodox, Syrian Church of the East, or Roman Catholic. Unless you want to claim that, the Lutherans or the Anglicans still have apostolic succession because their bishops remained true to the faith and everybody else committed apostasy. But the idea that you'd pick up the Bible and be like, now I'm a Christian, no. The church predates. The church wrote, edited, and compiled the Bible. Simple as that. And yet, I come across these people who are like, well, I was raised a Christian, and I believe, well, you didn't practice the religion of Christianity if you were a Protestant. And you practiced an extremely watered down version if you practiced Vatican II Roman Catholicism. And you probably came at the Bible as if it was a holy book. See, a holy book to me looked like this. Looked and sounded like this. The Quran. So, reading ancient texts in my adult life, well, by the age of 17 and especially when I was 19, and then I just took off from there. I came at these books as individual books, not the Bible being a single book, because it's not. That's why whether you have the Protestant canon, the Roman Catholic, the Eastern Orthodox, you'll have different books. And Jeremiah will be longer or shorter, depending on it. And so will Daniel, and so will Esther. There will be parts missing or added, depending on how you look at it. So I looked at it as one, a collection among many ancient texts, and that's when I became impressed with it. If you think it's a magical book and it's the best book ever, well, one, it's not a book. It's a canon, and it's an incomplete one at that. And for it being the Word of God, again, John 1:1, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So the pre-existent Christ is the Word of God, not this book. And there's disputed works in here. They're called anti-legomena. Not everything in the New Testament is homolegomena. The four Gospels are, Acts are, and the works of Paul are, but Jude and Hebrews and the Apocalypse of John and 2 Peter, 2nd and 3rd John, those are anti-legomena. Those were disputed for the first 3 centuries of the church, heavily disputed. And to this day, the Eastern Orthodox Church does not read the Apocalypse of John in its liturgy, even though we have it in our canon. And it pisses me off when the Protestants, who don't have a religion, basically, and then there's the atheists that are responding to these fundamentalists, which are just crazy people that don't believe in the Bible, basically, and plus you're not supposed to believe in the Bible, you're supposed to believe in God, right? But yeah, there's my spiel right there. Peace to you. What a beautiful flag. Flag of my motherland.